As we continue with our theme of today's show being the collapse of the MAGA base, we check back in on Marjorie Taylor Greene. In the clip I'm going to play for you, she repeats some of the stuff we've heard before, but she gives us a new addition to just how scary things got for her after Trump turned on her and called her a traitor. And that comes in the form of hundreds and hundreds of death threats, all the way to her family being targeted. Let's listen.
No, here comes out a late night Truth Social on a Friday night that calls me a traitor, which is what, by our law, traitors are either imprisoned or put to death. And I'm like, you're calling... It was a very interesting name, a traitor. And what he meant is I was a traitor to him, not to the country and not to the American people, but to him, I was a traitor. And that resonated with me really hard. And then he said he's going to primary me. I'm like, oh, okay, now you're going to put... they have, I think, what is it, like $2 billion in their super PAC. And he's got a massive campaign machine. And they're going to put that on top of me like they're doing to Thomas Massie after all that I have done, because I'm standing with women who were raped as teenagers. And then it was a few days after that, I started getting serious death threats, and a pipe bomb death threat on my home, pipe bomb death threat on my family construction business, and then direct death threats on my youngest child, my son. And those started coming in, and it was dealt with so many death threats. We reported, I think, nearly 773 official death threats, and they have to reach a certain criteria before we can report them to Capitol Police. And I dealt with that. But when they came in on my own child, based on the president's language, and that's what the death threats were, it was because he called me a traitor. My son is going to be threatened to, be killed.
Just the quickest pause to request that you click the subscribe button, the simplest, easiest, freest way, completely free, to support the work that we do. Right below the video, click that subscribe button. Back to the video.
So that came in, and I sent that death threat sent it to the president. I texted it to him. I texted it to JD Vance. I texted it to Kash Patel. I texted it to Susie Wiles and James Blair.
This is a very serious subject, and I appreciate that. And it is crazy when Trump targets someone. I hope Marjorie has also learned more sympathy for the other people on the other side of the aisle that Trump has targeted. Maybe she has. And this is horrible, and it gets very dangerous, and this is why Trump does it, and this is how he scared people out of politics for criticizing him and all of that. And also, I'm loving Jillian Michaels' facial expressions. Iconic. When I do interviews, I'm always like this. Yeah. Kind of straight face. I got to get better at a little bit of facial expressions, because it's like intriguing. You're like, yeah, whoa. Really? Wow. It's like...
And I said, the president's words are bringing death threats on my son. And Kash Patel said he was on it. Yeah. JD Vance was great, responded compassionately, said, we'll do everything we can. He was great. Never heard a word from James Blair or Susie Wiles, a woman herself and a mother and a grandmother, chief of staff. Never heard a word from her. The president himself texts me back and is very nasty and tells me that it's my fault, that this is totally my fault. He blames me for the death threats coming in on my own son, has no compassion, basically says, basically saying if your son gets killed, it's your own fault and you deserve it. That's basically his response.
So there she's leaking for the first time in that detail how Trump responded. She said he was insensitive before. Maybe I missed it, but that's the first time I'm hearing her going public with the information that he was that stone cold, disgusting in response to the death threats against her and her son. Now, I know it hits closer to home when it hits closer to home. Okay, so I know that it'll feel different when it's you experiencing it. But as we've kind of been following the thread throughout today's show, that's not new. his insensitivity to the outcome of his actions on other people. And remember, as horrible as it is that this happened, and as happy as I am to see her speaking out against the just degrading of our politics of voices like Trump and previously voices like hers, remember that she's still, and definitely for much of her career after January 6th and Trump, they did the epitome of encouraging violence and supporting violent actions or threats as long as it aligned with their political views. I mean, she went and did that thing. You remember where she sat in the mock cell at like a Turning Point event and like kneeled down with a depiction of a January 6th? Maybe you could find that, Jaden. And so my hope is she's having the revelation that whenever it was directed at other people, she didn't care either. But now that it's been directed at her, her eyes maybe are open to how this is Trump's MO. This is what cult leaders do. She, who used to hate that people would call her a cultist for stuff like this, her kneeling down at a person doing sort of an artistic exhibition of a January 6th political prisoner. She would hate people calling MAGA a cult. Now she calls MAGA a cult and says she's not in it anymore. And that's what a cult leader does, is uses the threat of violence, the fear of God, of the movement against anyone who dares to speak out at all. And I do think that her eyes are being opened to the broader impact of Trump on politics that she has helped to enable. Trump was asked about Marjorie Greene on Air Force One.
Tell us about your trip to Rome, Georgia on Thursday, your trip to Marjorie Taylor Greene's old district.
Well, we have a lot of people that want to take Marjorie Taylor Greene's place, and many, many candidates, and I have to choose one. And they say whoever I endorse is going to win, but we have a lot of good candidates who want to take her place.
Then you have her responding on X saying, him calling me that, meaning traitor, has become a badge of honor because I'm not in his cult. I refuse to bow to his demands to cover up the Epstein files to protect his friends, and I stopped fighting the hardest for a team that intentionally refuses to win. As I referenced with the Fuentes clip, I wonder what winning looks like to them. Because if she were a Democrat and was pushing for economic policies and fundamental changes to our system, sort of in a more progressive direction that seek to uplift the working class and more properly harness the wealth of the very top and not just serve those who have the money to lobby politicians. Like, if she was coming from that background, that would make sense. The win statement, because we know what winning would look like. And we have countries we can point to where we say we think they're doing it better with public policy, and we should emulate that a little bit more. I wonder what she sees, given that she's advocated for Trump for so long, what winning looks like if not Trump. Because obviously I agree, Trump is not win. I mean, this is not winning for our country. But I wonder what it looks like, and if it at all is shifting in a direction closer to what I believe, or if it's just a little bit incoherent at this point. She knows it's not Trump, but she doesn't know exactly what it is that she does want. And then David Pakman said, Trump says he will choose someone to endorse in Marjorie Taylor Greene's old district, but Trump already endorsed one of the candidates 13 days ago and has no memory of it. And then another strange moment of, I don't know if this is memory or brain or what, is just Trump getting asked, hey, how was golfing? And he goes, oh, it was good. Yeah, Ron DeSantis. And they're like, did you win? He went, I didn't golf today.
How was golf with Ron DeSantis?
Great. We had a great time. Me and Ron and a couple of other people, two great coaches, as you know. The two greatest coaches, I would say, certainly in college football. And we had a good time playing golf. Thank you very much. I didn't get to play today because I'm working on other things, very important things, much more important than golf. Thank you very much.
Okay, maybe he didn't hear the question. How was golfing with Ron? Great. It was really, really good. Who won? Didn't play today. No, who won the thing with the Ron? And the two best coaches, maybe in college football, etc., etc.